Namaskaram. There's been a request from my students to talk about simple breathing techniques to improve the lung capacity. Given the situation around us, I think that request came from there. Now, I'm going to talk about the breath and then a few techniques that will help us to breathe better. And these techniques, anyone can practice these techniques. So to begin with, breath. When you want to work on your breath, you need to do three things. First is you should stay connected with your breath. Okay, we've been breathing since the time we were born, but are we connected with the breath? We hardly pay attention to the breath. We don't know what's happening when we breathe in, when we breathe out. We don't pay attention to it. And we don't even realize that our breathing pattern changes with our differing states of mind. Okay? So the first thing is connection with your breath. Stay connected with your breath, which simply means you start paying attention to the way you breathe in and the way you breathe out. Okay? And the second one is you need to trust your breath. Trusting your breath is important, right? So when you look at your breath, you realize that the air that you are taking in through the nostrils is nourishing, keeping your whole body alive, protecting you from all kinds of illnesses and diseases, making each cell in your body function, because each cell requires oxygen, and it is this breath that is making us live. So we need to trust that this breath will protect us, is protecting us. And the third thing is we need to be fearless. The moment fear creeps in, the breath starts getting affected. If you have the practice, if you have already done this of watching the breath, you will know. But if you haven't, you can start observing your breath at different times of the day. And when you're angry, step back and watch your breath. When you're excited, when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're scared, fear. When fear engulfs your mind, watch what happens to your breath. You will know how much all this affects the breath. Now, why I talk of fearlessness, amongst the other things, is that we are all in a situation where there is so much of fear around us. There's so much of fear mongering. Even if a person is courageous, something comes up which causes a kind of fear, the fear of the unknown, of what can happen. So we need to learn to be fearless. And when does fearlessness establish itself? When we are breathing well. When we breathe well, when we trust the breath, when we stay connected with the breath, we learn to be fearless. And this fearlessness in turn helps you to breathe better. So it is interdependent. Okay? Having said these three things, let me take you into three simple breathing practices which we all can practice, irrespective of whatever health condition you may have, whatever kind of medication you may be on, you can practice these techniques. These are very simple and basic. The first one is breath awareness, paying attention to one's own breath. To do this, you need to sit upright. You can sit on the floor or on a chair, but keep your back upright. Close your eyes. Take a minute or two to bring your body to that state where you don't need to shift or adjust your body position or your clothes. Get there. Now bring your awareness to that point above your upper lip, just at the nostrils, that point where the air is entering into your nostrils. When you become aware of this point, you become aware of the gentle flow of air in and out of the nostrils. There is no need for you to breathe long, breathe deep, count the number of seconds you are inhaling or the number of seconds you are exhaling. All this is unnecessary. You just go with the natural rhythmic breath, in and out, the way you've been breathing since you were born. When you begin this practice, the biggest distraction will be in your mind. All kinds of thoughts, images will start floating in front of you. Things from the past and things from the future. These are the two timelines that the mind always dwells upon. It either dwells in the past or in the future. The mind never stays in the present. You have to train the mind to stay in the present. But the breath, this which is going in and coming out, signifies the present. So when you are paying attention to the breath, you are connected with your breath. Your trust on the breath increases and it makes you fearless with every breath. So let me tell you again, you just bring your awareness to this point where the air is going in, coming out. No change in the pattern of breathing. You don't have to do anything, just the natural breath. And you can do this at any time of the day. You can do this even before you go to sleep. There are no restrictions about this because this is just paying attention to your natural breath. Okay? And I suggest we do this 5 minutes every hour that we are awake. So even if you do it 10 to 12 times in a day, you get almost 50 to 60 minutes, almost an hour of breath awareness practice, which will do a lot of good to your body and mind. It keeps you in that calm and relaxed state. It helps you to focus and concentrate better. And your body, naturally, it starts functioning better. Now, the next breathing technique that I'd like to talk about is when we teach children, we call it the paper blowing pranayama, where to make the children understand how important it is to exhale properly, we just give them a small tissue and make them exhale like this. You don't need a paper or anything. I'm just showing you because we call it the paper blowing pranayama. So what do we do in this pranayama? You inhale long and deep and you exhale slow, deep and complete. And I suggest you do it, inhale through nostrils and exhale through mouth, because your exhalation will definitely be better, especially if you are a person who is not practicing any pranayama technique. It is better you do inhalation through nostril and blowing out the breath through the mouth. So let me do a few rounds of this breathing technique. It is not important that you make a sound, but I make this gentle hissing sound so that you know you're able to follow what I'm doing. You can even do it without the sound. When you do this, your exhalation will naturally be longer than your inhalation, and that is perfectly fine. Now, if your exhalation is not longer than your inhalation, that's okay. With practice, you will be able to exhale for a longer duration. And then the third one is Om Pranayama, where we inhale through the nostrils, and as we exhale through the mouth, we will be chanting Om. The focus should be on exhalation with the sound of Om and not on anything else. Do not worry if your Om is very short, if it is just Om. That's okay. With practice, you will get a longer exhalation, a longer sound of Om. It's just a question of practice. So the sound stops when the exhalation is over. And then in both the second technique, where I ask you to inhale through the nostril and exhale through the mouth, and in this Om Pranayama, you should not inhale through the mouth. Please remember, inhalation is only through the nostrils. You exhale through the mouth. Okay. Now, how do these simple breathing techniques help you? When we pay attention to the breath, we are addressing our fears and anxieties, and that helps your breath to work better because your fears are not meddling with the breath anymore. So in that way, when you pay attention to your breath is definitely able to go deeper into your system. The second one, where the paper blowing pranayama and Om Pranayama, what it does is When you exhale completely, your body is ready to take in more oxygen. Now, this is the main problem many people have. They come with breathing issues. They say, I have wheezing, I have this, I have that. If I check their breathing, the exhalation is very poor. Even children who come for classes, their exhalation, when I start working on their breath, when the exhalation is increased, the duration of the exhalation is increased, many things settle down. Okay. So when you are in this situation where many people are worried about their health being infected, low levels of oxygen, and all those things, you just need to learn to exhale completely and then prepare the body to receive more prana. When can you have a good meal? When can you enjoy your meal? Only when you are hungry. When you're not hungry, you cannot take in food. Similarly, when your lungs are not empty, you will not be able to breathe in properly. So these, the second and the third, help you to exhale completely and then inhale deeply. Okay, so you breathe in and breathe out. Just practice these 3 techniques and we'll all cross over this difficult time. Namaskar.